Hey guys, namaste. I hope all of you are doing great. This video is for the YouTube user. I couldn't say his or her name. It's got a very interesting user ID, so I can't say it for obvious reasons. But this is for you. Okay, so what happens if you have the 6th house in the sign of Pisces? Okay, Pisces is a very amiable, very knowledge-driven people who are always in the learning curve. Learning doesn't just mean formal education. It's just not that, but then the learnings of life, right? They see things in a very academic point of view. Whatever they do, they talk to someone or they do the things or they work, it must have some element of learnings there. All right, so what happens if it's in the 6th house? The 6th is the house of day-to-day commitment, your responsibilities. It's also the house of enemies. Now this enemies is just not people who wants to harm you personally, but these enemies are the bad habits that you have within yourself, the secret enemies, which is like from indolence right up to anger. Those propensities that you sort of create when you were young, the conditions that you were raised, that you were brought up, and also some genetically available traits which you have. So this can be anything, right? As I mentioned, from laziness to frustration to agitation, rudeness, and all that is in the 6th house. That is the actual connotations of the Shatru Bhava. Shatru is enemy. Okay, not only someone who wants to physically harm you or someone who is a competitive nature with you, but the deeper meaning is your own, all the problems that you have within, your bad habits, your attitudes, all these things which are rarely accepted by you. You just do it because you don't see it as a problem. People looking at you or your friends, your family member, the public circle would realize that you have such a problem, but it's rarely seen that the person understands that he or she has the problem, which is why some of my clients would ask me, Prakash, what are my weaknesses? What are the things? I just don't see any weaknesses in myself. I seem to get things done. I'm very committed to my family, my job. I'm a devout person, but what are actually my weaknesses? I just don't see it. So this is where I look at their 6th house to assess and to see what's going on there. But anyway, this is about the 6th. Now what happens if you have Pisces in the 6th house, right? If your 6th house happens to be the Pisces sign or the Meena Rasi. Now these people are very connected to their job. Okay, they are sort of workaholics, and they don't do it for publicity stunt or for credits or cheap publicity, that kind of stuff. They do it because it's dharma. Job, something is given to them. This is not only about office work, but can be school, can be anything, any task which has been assigned by them. They'll get it done. Day, night, hell, heaven, high waters, whatever come, they will get it done. Those sort of they single-minded, highly focused, and they'll get the job done. So these people has a few things going on here. This sounds like it's a very great thing, which it is, right? So once a job is given, they will get it done. They're a very trustworthy person. But on the flip side, they may not have much friends because they are not tactful enough. The diplomacy is out of the window. They do not know how to engage to another person. For them, is that when work is given, everything else is sort of shuts down, right? So these people may have problems with friendship, relationship, and stuff like that. You may find them a little bit lowness, not like they are recluse or anything like that, but then they don't have much excitement. For them, they may not see it that way, right? But from an outside point of view, you may see that person maybe a boring one, doesn't have much activities, they don't go out, no parties, they don't do much. They really enjoy their privacy, and this enjoyment of their own privacy can lead into in later life can lead into being a recluse, because friends and people tend to get a little bit annoyed because they don't really engage that well, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is their job is very meticulous, right? Whatever they do, it'll be right to the dot. They plan everything, anything and everything. So that can lead to certain annoyance as well, because if you plan everything, then there is no element of life is to be expressed in a more adventurous means, right? Or else it'll get a little bit boring. If you need to plan everything, then there is no element of surprise, there's no element of learnings there, because everything is planned well. Only, I'm not saying they shouldn't plan, but my point is, if you plan anything and everything in advance, then you tend to have a very straightforward, monotonous life. Okay, these people may be very successful in life, right? But then they may lead a very lonely life eventually, right? As they grow older and older, they become very lonely, and that has led to many psychological problems. I do have clients as such, right? They come to me and say, Prakash, things are good with me, everything is nice and dandy, but then I don't seem to click, I don't seem to be able to merge with the crowd. Something is wrong here. So that is where I'll notice, and some of them, based on my experience, they do have Pisces in the 6th. So that's one of the problems. They are very meticulous. Their thought process is very linear, right? So say if they're working something and you call them, they may not be there to answer you, all right? Because for them, whatever they are doing has to be done. They are not easily, you cannot distract them easily. They once they engage in their job, they'll get it done. Very linear process. They don't really do things parallelly. That's one of the things. So you can see this as maybe a good quality in terms of job, getting the things done. Yes, successful mentality, very good mentality. But then on the flip side, not good in terms of relationships, right? What else I can say? Yeah, another thing is trust. They don't trust people easily. It's difficult for them to trust somebody, right? And if they trust someone, they'll trust them for their life. And if the one they trust, the person that they trust, for some reason the trust is broken, and that's it, they will remain as enemies forever. Because remember, the 6th is the house of Shatru, enemies. So this is my take on Pisces in the 6th house. I'm sure we can talk more, but my videos, as you know, is short and crisp. So I hope you like it. Until the next video, thank you. Namaste.